We have 2 veterans of World War II, one of whom also served in Korea, Cold War, Vietnam. We have 9 veterans who served during the Korean conflict, 13 veterans that served in Vietnam. You have all served in the Army, the Navy, Air Force, and the Marine Corps. We are so pleased and proud to be having you here today. Please give yourselves a hand. Excuse me, our most senior veteran is 96. Our youngest is 71. The purpose of the program intent was to honor veterans that may have long since been lost, and like many of you, had never had the opportunity to visit the memorial that was created to honor them. So today we have a special guest that's traveling with us in spirit. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest. This is Tech Sergeant Henry Hank Zipfel. While serving his country, he spent time in New Guinea, Bismarck Archipelago, South Philippines, and Luzon. Sergeant Zipfel served as a general clerk or clerk typist and a supply NCO. During his time in the service, he received Bronze Star Medal, Asiatic Pacific Theater Campaign Medal with 4 Bronze Stars, Good Conduct Medal, 4 Overseas Ribbons, a Victory Ribbon, and the Philippine Liberation Ribbon. This is one of our Guardian's fathers on the trip today. This is Staff Sergeant Irving Patton. He was born to Irish immigrants in St. Louis in September of 19. He entered the Army in 1942, was stationed at Camp Crowder in Joplin, Missouri. He trained as a radio repairman and went on to be an instructor.
In the military, just for a brief moment here. He's Canadian. And in fact, your last name is Duguay, which sounds French. And so it's French-Canadian. French-Canadian.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Sergeant First Class Carney of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army, Guard of Honor, Term of the Unknown Soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of this ceremony, it is requested that everyone remain silent and standing. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The ceremony that you are about to witness is an Army Wreath Lake ceremony to be conducted by Chaska West Middle School. It is requested that everyone remain silent and standing during this ceremony. All military personnel in uniform will render the hand salute, and it is appropriate for all others to place their right hand over their hearts upon the command to present arms. Thank you.
My name is Commander Kondesh. I'm 76 years old. I was a Navy nurse for 20 years before I retired. I started out in San Diego, then I went to Guam, and from Guam I went to Bethesda, and from Bethesda I came here. In Guam, I treated many of the young men coming back from Vietnam. Then at that time, we had like 80 patients coming in every day and 80 patients going out. And it was just wonderful to take care of those young men coming back. I did try to get to Vietnam, but the volunteer nurses were so long that the closest they could get me was Guam. So I settled for Guam.
Hi, I'm Nancy Gibson. I was in the Navy at NAS Jacksonville in 1966 through 1969. And I really enjoyed my time in the Navy. I just felt like I was doing something important, which I was. And I'm enjoying this day. I mean, I was here at the Women's Memorial when they dedicated it. And it's been a long time since I've been to Washington, so this was kind of new to me again.
Hi, I was in the United States Marine Corps. I joined in Pittsburgh. I served in 1954 and 55. I was lucky enough to work for Chesty Puller, who was a major at, he was a commanding officer at Camp Lejeune. But I became a runner, and a runner picked up packages from one office, went to the next, and said good morning. That was my job. But I loved every second of it. And today my guardian, which I just found out this morning, is Val Demings from Orlando, but she is now a congresswoman, and served in Orlando as the police chief for many years. And
to the boots on the ground, we know why. We stand together on freedom's right.
being able to vote.
One incident about Churchill. In the early stages of World War II, we had a rifle team and a pistol team, and it's in the 29th Division. And I was the captain of the pistol team. So that's the story of Churchill's team, and he was upset because the Yankees used to beat the hell out of the Royal Grenadiers.
That's funny.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
First time he's ever done it.
My name is Ed Berry. I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1953, retired out of the Marine Corps in 1979. I was infantry, eventually made the rank of sergeant major, and I had a great career, wouldn't take anything for it.
I'm Sergeant Richard Caligari. I served in Korea from 51 to 53. I was with the 1st Marine Division, 8th Tank Battalion over there, and I was injured in 53 when my tank was hit. Went to the hospital in Japan, and then back to San Diego, and I was shipped up to 29 Palms in California, and from there in I went to a Naval Air Station in Quonset Point, Rhode Island, and I was discharged out of Quonset Point.
Go ahead.
I'm Franklin Duncan. My mother, that's what my mother called me. Most people call me Frank. I am 88 years old, and I served from, 1949, 1952 active. Got out in 56 as far as reserve is concerned.
My name's Don Shercliffe from DeBary, Florida. I was in the U.S. Army from 68 to 71. I was in Vietnam in Ben Tre, Kenwa Province. I was a MACV advisor, and I'm thrilled to be on this honor flight today. I feel very honored to be on this flight. I'm glad they all picked me, and I'm having a great time. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Ed Sinnott. I joined the Navy when I was 17 years old, right out of high school. I served, became a corpsman stationed in Key West. I was transferred to Camp Lejeune with Fleet Marines, and served in Easy 2nd Battalion for a number of years.
My name is Bob Bareffi. I'm from Orlando. And I came up here today with the honor group. And it's really been impressive. We had a good time.
My name is Fred Robinson. I'm from Apopka, Florida. I served in the United States Marine Corps during Vietnam. I was a support group in the Philippines, Subic Bay Marine Barracks, QB Point, Naval Air Station Magazine.
My name is Stan Collins. I'm from the state of New York. I'm 86. I served in the United States Air Force. I was in the Air Force Communications Command, the 13th Air Force assigned to Korea. I spent 15 months in Korea, and I was in the United States for a year and a half on 9 different bases, which happened to be Army bases. This is tremendous. It's a wonderful feeling to know that you're being recognized. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ray Schock, and I live in Cape Canaveral, and I'm delighted to be with these other gentlemen here on this wonderful occasion and see the great monuments. I'm especially proud to have my guardian as my son, which is kind of special, I would say. I was asked to say a few words about the B-52 Buff, which I flew in Vietnam. I've got 111 combat missions, and I enjoyed everything until I got to the wall. And then when I got to the wall, I saw a lot of the brothers who aren't here today. And it was kind of hard. It's kind of really hard. But this is a trainer, a T-33 trainer. Actually, we're here at the Korean monument. That was the first fighter that they used in Korea. It was the Starfighter. And the MiGs were better than the Starfighter. So we got F-86s, which he and I were just talking about, and they were superior to the MiGs, and we knocked the heck out of them. And that was in Korea. But this was a different time.
My name is Dick Baxter. I spent 24 years in the Air Force on active duty. I had a very exceptional career. Some of my experiences were that my first assignment, I sat through a category storm in Okinawa on top of a mountain on a radar site. Followed that up a very few years later as assigned to Joint Task Force 8, 13 atomic weapons right in front of me right there. Followed that up with Alaska, 8.3 earthquake. Very interesting experience. Came through just fine. Served in Vietnam. Came back just fine. Love my Air Force career. But most of all, I love my military family. And that's all the military. In Vietnam, I worked for a Marine captain experience, and Marines are special. Absolutely special in this world. Thank you.
My name is Tom Carter. 79 years of age. I served active duty in the Army as a chaplain from 1965 to 1993. Served 2 tours in Vietnam with the 1st Infantry and the 1st Cav divisions. Served 6 years in Germany, 2 different tours with the 3rd Infantry Division and then with USERA headquarters.
Don Devine of Oviedo, Florida. Served in the Navy aboard the USS McNair. Did the Korean conflict and ended up coming back and set it through the Panama Canal. Went the rest of the way around. Singapore, Hong Kong, Singapore, Calcutta, and went through the Med, came back that way. So before I was 25, I had a world cruise.
Oh, well, listen, I'm sweet 96 and never been kissed. And it's been a wonderful life. You know, after World War II, Korea and Vietnam, a few days in the hospital, a few pints of blood here and there, I'm still kicking. And I don't have any intentions of of relaxing. Well, I started in the Army, 1942. I served with the United States Army in the invasion of France, June 6, 1944. That was bad news that day. I got a few scratches, but not bad. So I continued to serve until the Korean War, and then I went to Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos. But that was minor assignments. We didn't have any wars over there in those days. So I enjoyed doing that.
This is Bob Horner. I've served in the Air Force from 1968 to 72. We all had a great day. I was out here with a great friend and two guardians, which are my daughters. It was a phenomenal trip. Alan did a terrific job, as well as the entire staff. What a memorable day. Thank you very much.
One of the things we learned very early on is that while you guys were serving overseas, you didn't have cell phones, you didn't have faxes, you didn't have telegraphs. So your mail call, letters from home were extremely important. So today, just for you, we have your very own Stars and Stripes Honor Flight mail call.
We contact the veteran's family unbeknownst to the veteran. So they send us the mail. They get a hold of neighbors and loved ones, and then we hand it out in mail call.
There you are, sir.
We appreciate what you did for us. If it wouldn't be for men like you, we wouldn't be a free country. And I think that's sweet. How old are they?
Juniors and seniors in high school.
Beautiful.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.